You ready? Hi everyone, welcome to another live stream with Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And today is a little something different. We want, we want to hold an AMA, AMA, aka Ask Me and Toby Anything.
Almost everything.
Almost, you can ask it. We'll answer what we can.
Sure.
So today, while we're waiting for people to show up in the chat and get things going, we can enjoy the beautiful sunset photo. By the way, for those of you who, have been watching these videos, especially recently, and you're noticing some cool backgrounds, those are all photos that I have taken, or we have taken, during our travels together. From South Africa.
Heidi's a very good photographer.
Bali,
so
Portugal, of course. Yesterday's the epic green background was from Noordhoek, South Africa. It was beautiful. So, okay, I'm just going to hit refresh because sometimes my chat doesn't seem to have a lot of activity, and then all of a sudden I need to get caught up. So just going to do that really quick. And in the meantime, let's get to some news. Okay. So you guys get your questions ready. We're ready to answer them. But until then, let's talk about a little bit what's happening with the price of Bitcoin. I know price talk, what the heck, but I think it's always good to understand at least some of these kind of fundamentals, talking about Bitcoin miners and what they're doing. Oh, excuse me. Emails. And what they're doing with the supply and how that affects the price. And it's always good to be aware of that sort of thing. So as what always happens after a halving event, the rewards are cut, and that usually causes the miners to have to sell Bitcoin. And in this case, we're seeing that they are selling more than what has been mined recently. So that means it says the past week, miners have sold 673 more Bitcoin than were generated. So just this past week. And that's indicating that they're dipping into their reserves, really, to make the profit that they need to keep their companies running, basically. So, but that's happening. But what isn't happening is the price isn't capitulating, which is great. Additionally, what isn't capitulating is the hash rate. So sometimes, miners become unprofitable. They have to stop mining. That drops the hash rate. But we're seeing maybe some miners are tagging out and some are coming in. And additionally, with them selling all of that Bitcoin, all that sell pressure on the market, it is being met by buyers. So that's why we're not seeing a price do too badly. But it is very typical for after a halving event for the price to go down, which Toby thinks that's what we saw when it went down to $8,700.
That is, that's what happens every halving, is that the price goes down, not immediately, but like shortly afterwards. So if we saw that, if that dropped to 8,700 was it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If it's not, who cares? Buy some more.
Exactly.
So
if you guys are here in the live stream tuning in, we always appreciate if you say hi. If you want to, let us know where you're tuning in from so we know what kind of a global reach we're getting, because it's epic to see people always chiming in from places like Germany, Poland, the US, the UK, Portugal. A lot of Portuguese crowd in there, which is cool. So anyway, that's what's happening with the miners. It is a bullish signal that this event happening, these actions that are happening we're not seeing the result of the price dropping as dramatically as some might have said, or some might have happened in the past. Other bullish factors that this Bitcoinist article is claiming is saying, let me see, make sure you guys can see this. Let's see. Like when I did a video talking about who is buying crypto in 2020, Grayscale is a huge crypto investment firm. They have acquired something like just under or just about 50% of all Bitcoin that have been mined this year so far. So huge bullish signal there. Also, with the capital controls being enforced between the US and China, due to the conflict in Hong Kong, a lot of capital flight going into Bitcoin from China, and
Goldman Sachs buying Bitcoin. When they say
you got to read between the lines.
They hate Bitcoin when they're tearing it down. They're buying so much Bitcoin, you have no idea. And then you have Grayscale that's buying up pretty much all they can get as well. So you have those two entities. Then you have JP Morgan. Don't worry, they're buying as well.
Yeah, they've hired a guy from Coinbase.
They're trying to buy up the market right now, which they're not going to. And that they have to slowly buy this because it's not a paper derivative like silver and gold. They can buy up the entire silver market because it's all derivatives. It's all IOUs. This has nothing to do with that. This is the real thing. So there's 20 or 18, 17 million of them now.
Yeah.
Good luck purchasing that, especially those people that are holding. Like, can you imagine when the retail investors just start pouring in after 20,000? You're going to see jumps 5,000, 10,000 a day.
We've had a long time of shaking out the weak hands. That's what this whole year plus experience has been pretty much. And so we're left with people who are still holding, are most likely going to be holding for a very long time. And similarly with this, the miners that are still mining will continue to do so probably well until this next bull run. Talking about bull run, there's a fly. It's so annoying. Little guy wants to get live. He wants to get famous on crypto tips. So the other very bullish signal that you might be familiar with or you might have seen popping up are this little red dot that everyone seems to be talking about. It's referring to, again, this guy on Twitter, Plan B. He's been doing a lot of work with the stock to flow ratio and that calculation for Bitcoin and possible price predictions regarding that. And stock to flow is basically the amount of coins in reserves versus divided by or in ratio to the amount of Bitcoin being released into the economy. So because the halving event just occurred, this famously always seems to trigger a pretty good bull run afterward. And this stock to flow ratio kind of explains that. So anyway, there's a lot of attention being paid to the newest red dot. That is, let me see if I can get it. Oh, this is
right
so
next to my head.
You're right.
It's one big red
that
dot.
Little guy.
Not that fly.
This fly is going to be really.
He's really interested in the crypto. He's like, okay.
We ordered one of those zapper things, so we're just waiting for that thing to come in. But so this red dot is a famous indicator for the end of the previous bear cycle into introducing the new trend or the new cycle being a bull cycle.
Yeah. So he's pretty much saying like the price could go to 233,000.
Not tomorrow, probably not by next week, but slowly but surely I think it'll get there because it does say, for example, the last time these red dots showed up historically, it says, historically, the red dot, which follows the end of the previous cycle colored in blue, has signaled the beginning of a new bull run. The first registered one occurred in late 2012, following the first Bitcoin halving. The asset price was hovering just above $10 in the next few months. As the red dots illustrate, Bitcoin exceeded $100 before skyrocketing to over $1,000. Again, after the second red dot that followed the 2016 Bitcoin halving, probably most of you have been familiar with that if you didn't witness it yourself. The results were much more modest initially, but quite positive in the long term. So it seems like it's not quite as explosively volatile, these bull runs, but the end of the story is always like 100x or something.
I mean, you didn't have Grayscale back then buying up.
Yeah.
Massive amounts.
We'll see what they do with those. There's always the manipulation argument, but
fine.
They want to make money.
Go ahead. The real thing's there. So
yeah. Let's see. So you guys, this is an Ask Me Anything live stream. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be checking very frequently in the comment section. So go ahead and leave your comments there or questions if you have any. Time to Some is saying, with everything happening in the world, is more than predictable that 2020 is the year of crypto. Yeah, stranger things have happened.
I mean, negative interest rates around the world that are coming. So
it's unlisted. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is why there's so many people not watching. Hold on. It's unlisted. Hold on. That's why there's not that many people watching. Hey guys, this is kind of a private live stream right now. I'm going to go ahead and make this public real quick.
Interesting.
What? No, I did it. It's no conspiracy here. It's just me. No, I made it unlisted because I made this so much more in advance. I made this in advance because of the newsletter that I will be putting out every Sunday. If you want to be a part of that, go to learningcrypto.com, go to the contact page, sign up for the newsletter there. Now that it's public, we'll see what kind of people come pouring in.
Oh boy,
hopefully.
It's going to be a lot of questions.
Okay, thank you, by the way, Noe, for the heads up there.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay, so, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so, stock to flow ratio, super bullish, happening, been there, done that. Now we're just for the internet protocol, VoIP. So thank you to him for Skype and how I connect with pretty much everyone that I care about in my life. Pretty cool.
You chatted with him once, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. Actually, it was for his ICO, which I'm really happy that it's still doing well. It's one of those DeFi platforms. I haven't had the time to really look into it because I'm not personally interested in participating in DeFi platforms myself. Definitely have been focusing much more on staking coins and that side of earning a passive income with crypto. But he seems to be a really cool guy. He seems to get it about what's wrong with banks, and he was pretty fired up when I did interview him. So, pretty cool. I think it's going to be, if it has his backing and his know-how, if they have the right team, it could for sure do some things as long as there's no major issue. I believe it is centralized in some ways.
KYC.
Yeah. If it's KYC, it's centralized. Just know that. Even if it's a DEX that has KYC, it is centralized. So, hi everyone. I hope that you guys have made it to this live stream. Slight little hiccup there, but anyway, now that we're all here, it is an Ask Me Anything live stream. Go ahead and leave your comments in the section, and we'll be checking back frequently. Until then, we have a few news stories to buffer in between.
Sure.
So I covered the crypto stuff, and now, Toby, what do you want to talk about? This guy?
All right. So, I mean, I was always just curious on what was going to happen next, because after the, the pandemic or whatever, the sickness thing that happened, I can't say it. But after that happened, I'm like, well, okay, they're going to be opening up businesses, and then people are going to at least recover what they have. I was wondering what central planners were going to do, because, I mean, the Fed wants to buy up the entire United States, everything, all the businesses. So I'm like, well, how are they going to do that if people aren't all going to go out of business? And so maybe this is it. Okay, I'll just read it off to you guys. So I like this guy named Jeremy Boring. Okay, so he says, number 1, instill fear. So you had the virus. Number 2, lock people in their houses. Number 3, drive tens of millions out of work. Number 4, remove the pressure valves. Sports, concerts, bars, theaters, lunch with friends. 5, close the churches. 6, dehumanize through masking the healthy. 7, wait. 8, strike match. So and I would put 9 would be martial law. So you're seeing curfews put in place again. And to get inside, just to show you that it's probably not a conspiracy theory, is because if you look around, how many times have people been banned from YouTube, showing violent content, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, it's just so many different things, right? And so, like you have all these things being banned, but then you have this violent thing that's being showed of this police officer killing this guy. And man, that made the news big time, didn't it? Considering this isn't the only time that has happened. This happens all the time, guys. This isn't just happening to this guy, George Floyd. This is happening almost probably on a daily basis, but no coverage, right? Why now? Makes you wonder, right? And so also all of these different places where people are protesting, a lot of these places actually have these bricks that are set up really conveniently right next to the protests, and there's no construction anywhere. Just go ahead and look it up for yourself. I'm not making this up. So I couldn't actually believe it when I first saw that. I'm like, well, there must be construction. There must be a reason for this. And it turned out there's no reason, and nobody really knows who put that there. So, it's time to question things of what's going on. Like, okay, so now they've shut down everything again.
Mm-hmm. But also,
like, wow, what timing.
Talking about picking and choosing what's aired and what's not aired, it is really unfortunate that the truth is they could have there's so many instances of that kind of police brutality and unneeded killing. They could have chosen any one scenario to display, and this is the one that got it. But now all over the news are the violent protests. Obviously, that's something important to understand, but still it's far less popular or easy to be finding non-violent protests, which are happening all over the place. There's these silent protests, people are laying on the ground, and I think those are all the more powerful, but those aren't being seen. So what are we being seen? We are being it's like the media and whoever is controlling the censorship of what gets seen, what doesn't get seen. They're very smart at pinpointing the emotional arguments and inciting this just constant divide between people. Either before they were encouraging you to out your neighbor if they're not using a mask or if they're breaking their quarantine, and now it's like, you're either for the looting or you're not for the looting, or you have to. Everyone and their mother on social media has a stance on white privilege, on race wars, on Black Lives Matter and all of that stuff. But it is such a big distraction from other things that are really happening, and understanding why certain things are getting attention.
Yeah. Anyways, just thought I'd bring that up.
What else? What's airing on Netflix this week? That one Netflix documentary about Epstein talks about the Queen Elizabeth's son, Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, that guy's a nice guy. I think he said he wanted to come back as a deadly virus to wipe out a lot of people. Great guy. Here, let's go to the next one.
Hold on. So you guys, it isn't Ask Me Anything. Go ahead and leave the questions. I'm going to try to get as many as I can, keeping an eye on the comment section. But in the so let's see if we have anything right now.
Okay, so the next one.
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, so the next one says, nearly half of small business owners expect to close down permanently. So what you're seeing is definitely now probably over 45 million people unemployed, and that's not including, self-employed that have left. So yeah, that's these are things that people are rioting. You're going to see, you're thinking things are getting really bad because of rioting, but you haven't seen anything yet, because you have to deal with the consequences of having 40 something million people that have just been unemployed over the last 2 months. This is just beginning. You haven't seen anything yet. Also, you haven't seen anything yet when it comes to the Fed currency printing as well. So they're going to be printing out tons and tons and tons of cash out of thin air. So let's go to the next one. All right. So now you have central banks buying $2.4 billion of financial assets every hour. So this is why the Fed balance sheet is just skyrocketing. I think it's maybe like close to 9 million or 9 trillion right now. It's something crazy. So they're trying to buy up as much as they can. They want to own everything. They're using this, this first crisis that happened to go ahead and, lock down everything, make people bankrupt, whatever, and then buy it all up by printing cash. So these are the people that, we are working against, that are not for you. They're not elected officials. They're not anything like that. They're pretty much owned by 6 banks, a couple families, and they don't have your best interests in mind, and they've bought every single one of your politicians. And this is pretty much why I don't call myself an anarchist. I just don't.
That's another thing I was thinking of.
I don't like putting names on myself. Whatever. I don't like being controlled by crazy people. That's all. So whether you call me that or not, whatever. That's what you're gonna call me. But I just don't like being ruled over.
But now the media is gonna be like, this is what you wanted. This is the anarchy.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
No, this is the result of years of calculated manipulation with the media and people's emotions and probably a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But you want to get to the questions?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, thank you for your questions, guys. Getting through them now. If you have, this is an ask me anything, so leave them in the comments. Green Gems. Sorry to be off topic. Heidi, do you see a bullish run on crypto in the next 2 to 5 years? Yes. I'm not sure it'll even take 2 years. Typically, it's 1 year, if that. It depends on if this was just a really compartmentalized kind of market, and it was just on the economics of Bitcoin and the halving event, probably a year or something. But with this crazy things that are happening globally and the uncertainty of a lot of things, a lot of different economies, it could definitely take a lot shorter than 2 years.
But nobody knows.
Yes, of course.
What time frame it's going to happen. So but all I know is I'm bullish as crazy right now. I love it. Bitcoin is. I'm very excited to see what the future holds for it.
James at the water cooler asks, Heidi, are you originally from Indiana? Yes, I am. Did my accent give me away? Yeah, Northwest Indiana. But indeed, I'm a Hoosier. Let's see. Dave D, did you guys become financially independent from crypto, or did you get into crypto because you had the means of financial independence? No. Are we ready to tell our stories? Our crypto stories?
Sure.
So I was working at a sign shop owned by my father. That was pretty much going to be the projection of my life because I wasn't too. Anyway. And then I bounced around from that to being a waitress at a pizza place. And that's pretty much when I was buying my first Bitcoin, essentially putting my entire paycheck into it because I didn't have a whole lot to lose, meaning I didn't have a whole lot of other options, and why not? So definitely took a risk there. After having been familiar with crypto for a little bit, learning about it, and then I got into it, and then I was really motivated to be learning more about it. Around that same time, this guy and I met a little bit, and we were doing some traveling, and I actually studied for English in college. I didn't graduate, but that's neither here nor there. So I have an enjoyment of writing, and so I was doing some travel blogs on Steemit when that first came out in July 2016, and that showed me obviously the immediate benefit of joining a platform early being different, being consistent, and being authentic. And I learned a lot. I earned a lot, and that gave me the first nest egg I ever had in my entire life. The first time I ever had anything of a savings account. I went from like not affording my phone bill yeah. to being able to, Anyway, so that was definitely for sure a life-changing event. And that definitely encouraged me all the more to reach out, learn more about crypto through Steemit. You know, being a travel blogger on Steemit for like didn't really last long at all. It was like 2 months. And then I pivoted in November to create this YouTube channel, Crypto Tips, because I realized on Steemit, there's so many people coming to this website because they heard they can make money, but they don't know anything about crypto, what makes it valuable, why they should care, how they can use it, proper steps and all that safety stuff. And so that was definitely the inspiration for creating this channel. And boy, am I glad that I did.
That's good.
And so that's kind of like my crypto story. What's yours, Toby?
For me, I was a gold and silver trader. Like I just pretty much had an E-Trade account, and because it was so manipulated, I'm really good at discovering, what do you call that? What am I good at?
Oh, pattern recognition.
Yeah, pattern recognition. I always forget that word, but I'm really good at it. That's one thing I've just been gifted with. So I always find like a pattern with a certain silver stock. It was actually silver wheaten, and I would just go on margin, and I just try to like I saved all this money through valeting, and I used to valet at a fish place in San Diego, and I just saved like pretty much every penny. Lived on the floor, had a roommate in the same room that snored super loud. I had to put my head into a closet because it was so loud, and I wasn't
really glamorous.
I
lifestyle.
Wasn't living it up, and but I was determined because I knew that what I wanted to do in life, and I wanted to essentially be retired by the time I was 30, but it turned out to be close enough. So I then started looking at YouTube videos, and I found this guy named Brother John F. And I saw this video of him posting, Bitcoin crashing. It went from 11, I think, I could get this wrong, but I think it's from like $17 to under a cent. You can look this up on YouTube. And it went back up, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, and he talked about Bitcoin or silver and gold a lot, mostly silver. And I'm like, what is this Bitcoin thing? And when he was first talking about it, it was about $5, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So didn't think anything of it. And then around, $70, I think it was, I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend 2 weeks nonstop trying to learn about this thing. So literally, I was in Australia, I remember, just traveling around, and I just had time, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to change my life. I need to learn about this. So I spent 2 weeks trying to find out how to freaking buy this thing, because I had no idea. There was no YouTube real videos out there. There was none of these like, there wasn't Pomp or anybody out there, talking or whatever about this.
Wasn't crypto Twitter yet?
No crypto Twitter. No. I mean, I guess there was, but I didn't know about it, and nobody really knew about it. And so I'm just like, well, who do I go to? Like I just have to just figure it out. So I did, and I learned that way how to do all this stuff, and since then I'm like, wow, this is going to change the world. And so I'm like, well, I better dump my put everything I've ever owned in it.
What were you doing for an income?
So when so I was doing Lyft, which is like a kind of like a taxi service, and I'm like, well, I'll use that and put it in, and it was great. So I just this guy
was driving Uber for like 16 hours a day, no social life whatsoever.
Oh yeah, my
friends were saying like, Toby, just stop working for a day. Let's go surf. Let's go party. Toby's like, no, I gotta make that money.
Yeah, I was pretty determined. I mean, because I am a big wave surfer, so my mentality is super extreme.
I encourage you guys to ask questions about Toby's surf career.
So my mentality is really extreme, more so than probably most people. Mm-hmm. And I use that's actually kind of gone into like my investment strategy. So that's why I tell people, they're like, well, how much should you put in for of my life savings? I'm like, don't ask me, because I like everything. Like I was like, okay, I'm so determined to go ahead and keep this regardless what the price does, that I'm willing to live on the streets. I don't care. Yeah. I will live on the streets. I'll live in the gutter. I don't care. I will make it work.
I'll come visit you, Toby.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll throw you some quarters.
And it yeah, I couldn't believe it. It worked out. So in my mind, I pretty much, all those hours that I worked, like 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, I literally took no breaks. I essentially, from the crypto gains that were made, that essentially was like me working for
we're constantly comparing that now. When we see percentage changes, we're like, that's like my paycheck. And it's it's very humbling, and I'm glad that we both have that history of working for it.
Yeah, so we weren't like rolling in the dough.
No. Okay. Sorry. I want to get through as many of these questions as I can. Richard O asks, is it doable to live in the U.S. and live a crypto KYC free lifestyle?
Yes. Yes, you can.
If you are completely off the grid, and you have a community around you that accepts crypto, like on a person-to-person, peer-to-peer basis, for sure. Maybe you can get some merchants to accept crypto for you. But other than that, like, you can't use a centralized exchange in the U.S. without going through KYC, for sure.
Before it was...
No. Oh, totally possible.
Do whatever you want.
Now, they got the word that crypto could actually be a thing, so they wanted to put their regulations.
Can Bitcoin be a play and role in defending ourselves? Absolutely. Like defending, like physically, actually, literally defending yourselves. Yeah, because say for instance, like you don't have any cash laying around, you have crypto. Well, who's gonna steal it from you? You know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, bro, I only have this, or I don't have anything. You know what I mean? If you have it in your head, which I'm pretty crazy, I have this in my head, the privates. So I'm like, go ahead and steal whatever you want. It's not going to work out. Yeah.
Another one of those advices that you do kind of crazy that maybe not other people shouldn't take.
So,
Charlie Val, sorry. Great question. Will you ever put out a course on how to successfully expatriate? I can assume,
that
especially after
awesome.
What's happening now.
Yes.
All the more want to
do it.
Managing your digital life, password management, online banking, foreign LLCs. Andrew Henderson meets crypto tips type of course. I will definitely reach out to him and ask about that. I think
Andrew's
that's a great
amazing.
Idea. Yeah.
The guy's amazing.
It's a really unique meeting of two different industries that I think go really well together. So thank you, Charlie, for that. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
What year did you buy your first Bitcoin?
2014.
Or around then.
Yeah.
13, 14.
You might have got in 13. I think I got in 14.
I like surfing, and I'm considering staying in Portugal.
Who said that? Sorry. Toffee Piernil.
Any suggestions where to stay?
In Portugal? For good surf?
Peniche.
Ericeira. Those are definitely known. Also... Carcavelos. It's a surf spot in Lisbon. There's surf everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably not the most affordable. I'm guessing that Peniche and Ericeira are also, because they're drawn from the surf, they get a lot of crowds and tourism, so they might not be the most affordable. We're partial to Nazaré because of the affordability and the small townness of it. But yeah. During the summer, we're not usually here in the summer. We usually like to get out because it's super crowded, and Toby likes to chase the winter swells on the other hemisphere. Let's see here. Hold on. SJGSM. Does exchanges like Binance track the IP or email? Because whenever I buy crypto, it suddenly drops, and then whenever I sell, it suddenly rises.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, like they display it for you differently? You
No,
mean?
no. I mean, they'll say, for instance, you have.
They can't do that for every single person trading on the platform.
No, but if you have a VPN, I would.
You definitely use a VPN. Just that's a super easy layer to do that. And there's plenty that take crypto as a form of payment.
Put it to Portugal.
Yeah, I use Molvad. They take Bitcoin. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you use a VPN, and you were required to give your email address, I would get rid of it immediately.
Yeah, don't use that
and
VPN.
never use that stupid piece of crap service in your life again.
Anything that's asking for your information, even if
Cut
it's
it
just
out.
an email that you can just make up and whatever, it's an indication that it's going south. Molvad also allows you to, for your subscription, you can apply it to like I think 5 different devices, which is cool. Let's see. Oh, it's skipping all around. Hold on. Tasman, Toby, when did you start surfing? I was in grammar school and in high school we had surf class first and second period. Let's get a surf story. How old were you and what made you want to start surfing?
I think I started surfing when I was 7 or 8 years old.
It's a long time ago.
And I instantly was like, I'm bored, I want bigger waves ever since I started. So I was constantly trying to find massive waves, and it wasn't until I was 16 to where finally got a car that I brought it to some surf spots, and then I instantly got bored of that, and I'm like, I need bigger waves. So I just always wanted bigger waves, and so yeah, since 8 years old I've been dying to surf big waves. Yeah, let's see. Do you only use decentralized exchanges now?
Mostly.
Yeah.
When I can. If it's having to do with an ERC20 token, I definitely try to stick with the decentralized exchanges. Yeah.
This guy says Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Australia is one of my favorite surf places in the world.
We'd love to go there this year.
If you ever been to the right in Walpole,
yeah.
If you ever seen that wave, you'll never be the same. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see.
What's the spot with the beautiful beaches that is like pretty much desolate? It's like the crystal clear blue water. Esperance. I'd love to go to Esperance one day.
We should do a travel channel. What's the name of the VPN?
I use the Molvad VPN. MULLVAD. Thanks, Satoshi Bear. Hey, Fox Coit. No worries. We're still here. So if you ask me anything, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comments. Dave D, can you do a video on using VPNs? Probably. It's also, I could definitely also just do a post on my Patreon and make it public. Because I can do blog style as well. I'm not sure a video is necessary for that. I'm definitely going to be talking about VPNs in my class being held this Wednesday, June 3rd, for Patreons for the CT Club. If you want to join that, check out the links in the video description here.
Well, let's go to some news.
You did it all. That's the last one.
I did all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I
cut it down because it was AMA.
Yeah.
But
AML, you're going to say.
AML, yeah.
That's been 38 minutes, but...
Ask me anything.
Yes, I know. I wanted to say
okay.
What's the most important to both of you in your relationship? And what is the one thing you like about each other? Aw, thanks for that question, Light Waters. I don't know. You have Toby answer first.
The most important thing to both of us in a relationship.
And what's one thing that you like about each other?
I've always we're Christians, so I think that's one big thing that we've shared in common. So yeah. And like, for instance, when we got married, our marriage wasn't with a government official. It was between
just us and the big guy.
Yep, that's it.
Just a vow.
And that's what we count as marriage.
And you know what? All these people who are like saying that their weddings are ruined because of this COVID and the lockdown, all marriage is a vow between you, the other person, and God. That's it.
Yeah.
The other is just paperwork. You're just inviting the government into your marriage.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's one thing you like about me? let's not forget about that part.
Oh, that she's incredibly intelligent. I can talk to her about anything.
Oh, thanks.
Yep. So,
yeah.
And very honest. Oh my gosh, Heidi is honest to a T.
Okay.
So,
so one thing that I value about our relationship is we're definitely motivating of each other, and try to encourage that from each other.
Yeah.
Try to hold each other up on a high standard.
Yep.
And one thing I like about you is your adventurousness. Obviously, always up. We're very similar in that we can get comfortable very easily and we can enjoy it, but we can also get really restless and take off. And so that's why we're traveling a lot. And that's why I think this works for us. We're in Portugal half the year, the other half of the year. Maybe not this year. We're traveling. So that's kind of cool.
Cardano.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Cardano?
Yeah. Well,
can't wait for that staking to come public. Yep. Beta. But
what do you call it? The
Shelly?
No, your Patreon. We did a update.
Oh yeah, we did a trade alert.
And if you we usually do trade alerts within 5 minutes of us trading. So if you had listened to that trade alert,
how about as a long-term project?
As a long-term project, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. You can't go through this bull run without Cardano.
Especially with it being a smart contract focused platform. Everything I've been saying about the DeFi space, how these smart contracts are untested, we're kind of feeling out the bumps. Cardano has like a pretty rigid peer review system. So that's going to, I think, benefit it in the long run. Maybe they'll be able to dodge some PR nightmares of like wanky smart code gone wrong. Do you recommend Binance DEX? It's not a decentralized exchange. It's non-custodial, so don't think that. It's cool that it works with the ledger, so you can always keep your coins in your possession. That's very cool about it, but it's not the best decentralized exchange. But if it has a coin that you want, it's probably better to use than the actual Binance. But
if you want a good one, I would say off the top of my head, Blocknet is...
Yeah, and
incredible.
BISC has been growing too, even though they had a hack this year. That's definitely
unfortunate.
But
good
it happened.
That they have hacks.
Yeah, and now it's been addressed, and now it's not going to happen again. Hey, John, good to see you here as always.
Gold-backed coins worth investing in. There's a lot of room for slippage. And so I haven't, for instance, there's just not a lot of liquidity for, say, institutional investors to go in and cram in.
Swing it like crazy.
You know what I mean? So, right now, that's just right now. Isn't DigixDAO one?
What?
Like a gold-backed coin? I think.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know much about them, but I do know I look at the liquidity on these things, and I'm not quite comfortable of it's more of gambling right now. So I'm sure there's a lot of them that could be good, but that's just my opinion right now. I'm out.
From your perspective, who will win in the long run, Ethereum 2.0 or Cardano?
Nobody's
this fly flying around is gonna win.
Nobody's gonna win.
It's not a zero-sum game. Well, yeah. Who knows what the coin
this isn't going. This isn't a win-lose situation. Cardano does different things, as does Ethereum. So, as far as open source, anything can happen. So let's just enjoy the game. Why? It's kind of like this. You have great thoroughbreds out there, and they're both very healthy, and they both have a great track record. Why would you might as well put your money on both, what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then Ethereum isn't I don't say Ethereum is better than Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is, whatever. So I stay away from comparing coins, because you never know how this stuff is going to work out. Just like most people didn't know how during the tech boom, which .com companies would actually make it afterwards. So you would have probably had no idea. So yeah.
So you're out in the crypto space.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. Someone else. Dave D asks, can we subscribe to your Patreon with BAT through Brave browser? I need to double check if I don't think I have signed that one up yet. I have set up the Bat Rewards or Brave browser for my YouTube and for Twitter, but I will do Patreon today. Thank you for that, Dave, for that reminder.
Cool.
Let's see. Will
Cardano be on Coinbase?
I don't know. I'm not an employee on Coinbase, so I'm not going to be able to do the insider trading that they often do, like probably did with the Music Go and Maker.
So much.
Yeah.
They're
so
like Congress.
Who knows? You ever consider living on a sailboat? You two seem perfect for that.
We've
joked about it. We can float. I can't sail. Neither can Toby.
I mean, I can probably sail a little bit.
I can't sail for a lick. I'm from Indiana, dude. I don't know how to sail a sailboat.
But a lot of my friends live on sailboats, and they're enjoying life thoroughly right now.
But are they just docked up, or are they?
No,
they're
one of them sailing through the Mentawai Islands off of Indonesia,
nice.
Sumatra. You don't know him, but a guy named Mark.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We were definitely we were daydreaming about sailing off in a sailboat during this quarantine for sure.
Yeah, that'd have been nice.
How are you securing your crypto? What's the method to your madness? LOL. Lightwaters. I have a few different hardware wallets that I use.
Never keep one hardware wallet for everything.
No, dude. Decentralize. Give yourself some stress relief. Decentralize the way that you store it in a manageable way, so it's not crazy, but so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
And don't do it like me. I store it in here.
I've used the Keep Key. I really like the Keep Key. Super user friendly. I've done a review on it. Also, obviously, the Ledger. I've done so many Ledger reviews. I think it's pretty kind of obvious that I use Ledger hardware wallets. Have had some funny headaches about the Ledger lately. Trying to access some coins that we've been having, trying to move them around, and like anyone who has like a ledger that's like 5+ years old,
yeah,
have fun. It might be a little bit of a headache. I think I have officially confused, or not confused, but stumped the Ledger help guy. But they do have really responsive help desk, so that's kind of cool through email. What part of Indiana are you from? Northwest Indiana. That's about all I want to say about that. Just because I still have family living out there. People are weird. I don't want to give too much about where my family's from.
He's probably not weird.
You're probably not weird. I'm not saying that you, but whoever's watching this. Let's see.
Mentawai is great surfing. Oh yeah.
Where's Toby from?
I am from a small town in San Diego. Yes. SoCal, yeah.
Yeah.
Little small town. Ocean Beach is pretty much where I grew up, like mostly. Stayed a lot of years there, so it was a fun place. Lots of live music pretty much every night. My friends just walk to the beach, and you got a pier there, so you can go swimming and do what you want. And
yeah,
it was nice. It was cool. I love Portugal though.
Day 2. We're all definitely weird. That's true. We're all just people. Everyone's weird. I like to have that whenever if I feel nervous about meeting someone, I just think they're probably so weird behind closed doors. Yeah. So who'd have thought a girl from Indiana and a guy from Southern California would meet up and live in Portugal together? Cool. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and leave them now. I'll give you guys a second to get those in if you have any. In the meantime, again, CT Club, don't forget Wednesday, noon Eastern time, new class. Take part in it. Be in the live stream, the private live stream. And so if you have questions, I can answer them as best I can, or I can definitely get back to you with information.
I'm not familiar with Beam.
Yeah.
I've heard about it
it's
for
a privacy
long time.
Coin. I think it's Mimblewimble. Anyway. Cool. So that's going to wrap it up for today's Ask Me Anything. If you guys enjoy these live streams, like this Ask Me Anything format, hit the like button and hit subscribe with the bell notification. Also, I have, because shadow banning may or may not be happening. Now that I have you here in the live stream, go ahead. If you want to join my newsletter, keep you up to date on all the videos I posted lately, probably have some blog topics mixed in also, going out every Sunday. Go to learningcrypto.com, find that contact form in the upper tab section, fill it out. Let me know you want to join the newsletter, and I will get you on that list.
Really quickly, I do want to answer this question from Exciting World of Cryptos. Do you think a government system of coalition, one that Norway, Finland use, would work in other countries if the right conditions come in? I mean, a government coalition. What do you think?
Isn't that what like NATO is?
I'm not quite understanding that question. Like how they came together during this last crisis.
I mean, if they're dealing with like a trade shortage and they can work together locally, or rather than internet, like across oceans or something like that, for sure. It's all about working together and building community. And if they can, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay, that's about enough.
Cool.
Let's see. No, Tasman, I haven't used Uphold yet. When I do, I will be doing a video on it, because I know everyone who is participating with the Brave browser and BAT rewards, you're going to have to go through that. So definitely worthy of a video.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Reward it and then come back to us next Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Or leave an email or in the contact form. Anyway, so that's going to wrap it up for this live stream. Thank you for everyone who is in the comments. We'll be seeing you again next Monday.
And we will put it public next time.
Yes. Lesson learned.
Anyway,
I'm not too blonde. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.